What up YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you all through my back day. We just pulled up to the gym. I cannot wait to get in there and get this shit going. The pre-workout is firing. I feel that beta alanine in my face, in my ears, and it's a great feeling. You live for this shit, But quick breakdown of the back workout before I actually step foot in the gym. We're gonna start off with some lat push downs, really open up my lats, get a nice stretch going, get everything firing properly. Then after some lat push downs, I'm gonna move into an upper back focused row. I like to start with upper back rather than lats because, I got a little bit of longer arms and it's harder for me to hit the upper back later in the workout when my muscles are tired. I tend to get a lot of bicep engagement. So that's why I like to start with them. And I recommend doing that for all of you guys. If you're weaker in a certain movement, start with it. You just had a bunch of carbs pre-workout. If you're following a diet where you're having carbs before your workout, you want that energy to go towards a muscle group that you're weaker in. That way you could turn it into a stronger muscle group. And for me, I could hit my lats pretty easily. They never have trouble engaging. So that's why I kind of do more lat focused movements at the end of the workout. Being that I can target them a little bit easier. But so lat push downs, upper back rows, and then I'll move into lats, and then I'll kind of repeat that cycle all over again. Back is about 10 sets for me. In the voiceover, I'll go over the exact sets and reps that I do. But yeah, this is a quick overview. Can't wait to get in there and get this shit going. I'm just gonna listen to some music, get my head in the right spot, and then go slam that shit in there. So quick pre-workout talk. And I will see you guys in the gym for some back. Peace out. What's up guys, and welcome to the voiceover section of today's video. Like I said in the car, I like to start off all of my back days with some rope push downs, as you see me doing them right here. I would love if Planet Fitness had a push down machine. Unfortunately, they don't have it, and I can never foresee them having it in the future. That's definitely a rarer piece. So if you have that piece of equipment in your gym, definitely use it. But if you don't, you can simply do rope push downs like you see me doing right over here. I typically like to go a little bit heavier on these. That's my take on it. And heavy is a bit subjective when I say heavy on this movement. You can't go too heavy or the weight really kind of pulls you forward, being that your body weight is the only thing kind of keeping you on the ground. It's not like you're strapped into anything. But I like the weight to be heavy enough so that way at the top of the rep, it really pulls my lats up and gives them a really nice stretch. I've noticed that when I go lighter on this movement, I can't get as good of a stretch because I'm kind of just holding the weight there. So yeah, like I said, I want that weight to be a bit heavier to kind of stretch my lats up. To get a better stretch, and then I really try to hold that contraction down by my hips and just give it a good 1 to 2 count squeeze. But after those rope push downs, I'm moving over into some cable rows. Now, the handle I like to use on cable rows is the little bit of a wider V handle like you see me using here. The typical V bar is great, but whenever I use it, my hands always hit my stomach before I can reach that peak contraction. So using a little bit of a wider bar allows my elbows to go back further and give me a better squeeze. I went pretty heavy on that first portion of the set, and this actually turned into a drop set, being that I only got about 6 reps. So yeah, now you'll see this angle. My hands are going back further than my stomach, being that this bar is a little wider. I know they're not going back further now. I'm kind of getting gassed, and I'm just doing a few partials to finish up. But I did 2 sets there, 1 heavy drop set, and then I did a back off set of about 12 to 15 reps. Now I'm going into some wider grip cable rows right here. I dropped the weight significantly, being that this movement is a bit harder. And I'm really trying to bring that bar to around my sternum. That way I can get a lot of upper back contraction. When I do this motion, I really try to just pinch my shoulder blades together. Thinking about that and almost trying to squeeze my shoulder blades together unlocks a new type of mind muscle connection for me. Before I started thinking about the movement like that, I used to engage a lot of biceps, and my arms would give out before my back. But as you could see here, I'm really just trying to pinch my shoulder blades and really honestly protract my scapula at the end of the movement to really give them a good stretch. And then I really try to squeeze my shoulder blades together towards the peak contraction.
I'll definitely go into more detail next time on those. But after the 2 upper back rows, I now move into my lat portion of the workout. I'm starting off with some neutral grip lat pull downs. I love these for lats. Being that my hands are in a neutral position, I can target my lats very easily rather than using your standard lat pull down bar. It also allows for a really nice stretch at the top. And yeah, this is honestly one of my go-to starting lat movements. As you could see in this set, I did a bit of a mechanical drop set. It looks like I'm dropping the weight here, but I actually put it right back at the same number. And all I'm doing is switching my grip into a reverse grip. Now, mechanical drop sets, if you don't know, isn't necessarily a drop of weight, but it's a way to make the movement you're doing a bit easier. So for me, I'm stronger on an underhand grip lat pull down. So, a weight that I fail with in the neutral, I could still squeeze out a few more reps with the underhand grip just to apply more tension and more stress on those lats. But after about 2 mechanical drop sets over there on the standard lat pull downs, I moved over into some single arm cable rows. These are one of my favorite lower lat builders. And what I mean by lower lat is kind of right where your lat insertions start, almost by your lower back. This does a really good job of growing that portion of the muscle, which is extremely important in building a good V-taper. If you just work your upper lats, yes, you'll get a wide upper back, but I really think creating that V-taper effect and overall thickness in your back is super important for, just a well-rounded back. So when I'm rowing here, I'm really trying to just bring that handle towards my hips and just really holding that squeeze. These are a phenomenal back exercise, also due to the fact that you can get a really nice stretch by leaning forward. But again, you really want to pull with your elbows and not with your biceps. Pulling with your elbows is another mental cue that I have to engage my lats rather than pulling with my arms. But after those 2 lat movements, I now finish off my back days with some Smith Machine shrugs. This is a great way to hit that really upper back. Right here on this set, I'm keeping more of a vertical kind of shrug, hitting more of my traps. But as you could see in the next set, I lean forward a little bit more. That way I don't really hit the top of my traps, but more the back of my traps. But shrugs felt really solid today. Quick little pump check here. I was pretty happy with the look in the gym today. Just getting drier and leaner every single time on this cut. But now moving on to the last set of shrugs right here. I showed you a back view. And I'm really just trying to keep my head forward and just shrug that weight back rather than up, if that makes sense. I'm really just trying to hit that logo section on my stringer. If you could kind of see where that logo is, I'm really just trying to shrug that portion of my back to use more of the rear traps rather than the upper traps. I don't know if that was the best way to explain that, but hey, it makes sense for me, and I hope it kind of made sense for you. But this is a quick little pump check to wrap up the back day. I was super happy with the look in the gym today. I was super happy with the pump. Being that my carbs and calories are low, I still feel like I'm getting an exceptional pump in the gym, which I am not complaining about. But yeah, that if you're cutting properly and your food selection is good, you should still get some phenomenal pumps in the gym. But I'm going to wrap up this voiceover and I'll see you back at the house. Peace out, guys.
All right, guys, so I'm back from the gym after training some back. And I'm going to just show you guys my quick post-workout meal. Right here in this bowl, I got I got exactly 6 ounces of 96.4 ground beef. Being that we're on this cut, I'm trying to keep the protein as lean as possible. Just less calories, more food volume to feel full. So yeah, 96.4 ground beef, 6 ounces. That's about 210 calories and about 40 grams of protein. And in addition to the ground beef, some carbs post-workout to replenish the glycogen. We got 140 grams of sweet potato coming in at 120 calories. So this whole meal is only 330 calories roughly and 40 grams of protein. So honestly, pretty full plate of food for only 350 calories max. The orange sauce that's on the ground beef is a little bit of this Melinda's black truffle hot sauce. If you could see right here, 0 calories. This shit is amazing. Highly recommend it, whether you're cutting or bulking. To be honest, I really don't see a reason to have calories coming from sauces. Keep that shit coming from food. Best way to go about it, in terms of dieting, in my opinion, is, when you're in a caloric deficit, hit your protein. If you're roughly 200 pounds, hit 200 grams of protein. The rest of the calories come from carbs and fat. I typically like having lower fat diets. So, my carbs are only going to be about 30 grams a day, which comes out to about, 300 calories from fat. The rest protein. The rest carbs. All right. So, and, that's kind of the gauge I follow from cutting. Right now I'm sitting at about 2,200 calories. When I start my bulk, that increase of calories isn't going to be really much more protein. It's going to basically be more carbs. My protein's about 2 to 250 grams a day. That's all my body needs to absorb, so that extra calories is just going to come from extra carbs in each meal. So, for example, this meal right here being only 140 grams of sweet potato might go up to like 200 to 250 grams of sweet potato. Just a little extra carbs to, fill out the muscle and, push more carbs into the muscle, baby. That's it. Once the carbs increase, I'll start taking a GDA, glucose disposal agent, just to make sure my, insulin sensitivity is good. And that way these carbs aren't going into the bloodstream and rather being used for energy being put into the muscle. But, we'll dive into more detail about all of that in the future. But keep your protein the same, whether you're cutting or bulking. If anything, increase it when you're cutting to hold on to the muscle that you put on. But the calorie increase for a bulk should really just come from added carbs and fats. Keep that protein right around 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. My rule of thumb is 2 to 250 grams of protein a day, and I'm set. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you want to see next. I know I've been just really showing you the post-workout meal and telling you the pre-workout meal, but there's obviously a lot more meals going down than just those two. So, subscribe, like the video if you want to see more. And, I'll post a full day of eating very soon. I love you guys. Peace out. And let's get jacked.